So if this is your first time doing electronic DMRs, since we are phasing out the paper DMRs, to do your registration online for the first time, you would go on our website, click on water, and on the menu on the left side, you would click on enforcement. Under enforcement, there's the NetDMR, and it would bring you to the NetDMR page. Now, beforehand, to be able to have a NetDMR online account, you would need an email address. So if you don't have an email address, you could make yourself one in any of the providers like Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail or Outlook or AOL or any other internet provider, because you would need to have an email address to get access to NetDMRs. After that, you would need to fill out, you can either fill out the registration packet for the CDX, which is kind of like our cheat sheet beforehand, or you can do it along with putting in your information. So to get the cheat sheet or registration packet, you would go about the middle of the page and under training information and materials, click on that and it will bring you to a new page. And about the middle again, there's CDX and NetDMR registration assistance. And it says click here for registration packet. You would click that and you can fill it out ahead of time, or you can do it as you go along doing it. And we only have this because it gives you place to put your answers, because the answers are very case sensitive and it only gives you 3 tries before they kick you out. And you would have to call the helpline. So this is a chance where you can record everything down so you won't forget it. And so we're back to the NetDMR. After you have that, you can go back to the NetDMR page. Click on enforcement again to NetDMR. And on the first paragraph where it says, click here for access to NetDMR. You can go there and then have it saved on your favorites, or you could go to netdmr.epa.gov. So once you're here, you would click, since it'll be your first time, you would create a new account. So click on create a new account, and then you would pick your state agency. Some people pick by mistake EPA Region 6 because they have Louisiana on it, but we would pick the one that says NetDMR Louisiana DEQ. So you would pick on that, and then your user type. If you are the owner of your facility or a manager that makes decisions, then you are the signatory. You would pick permittee signature. But if you are another employee of the facility or a supervisor or something, or somebody that does not make the decisions, then you would need to do the permittee no signature, and you would have to have your boss or the owner of the facility have their own account and be the permittee signature, and they can grant you access rights, but you would have to do that later. And then if it's a lab, you're only a data provider. So for our sake today, we're going to do permittee signature. Then you click on next, and then your title. And you only need to do the ones with the red asterisks on it. So would pick this. And your first name, your last name, and your job title. And then next. And then your user ID, most people use their email address. And then you would put a password. I usually click on the show password so you see what you're typing so that you can write it down on your cheat sheet. So for the password, it has to start with a capital letter. You have to have a number, and it has to be 8 characters. And then now you will have to get 3 answers to 3 questions. This is when, in case you forget that password you just made, you can reset your password. And I also advise to show answers so you see what you wrote down so you can write the exact same thing on your cheat sheet. And you can pick any 3 of these. You can have it all capitalized, you can have it all lowercase, just as whatever's easy for you to remember. And you would click on agree to the terms and conditions. And click on next. And then now the 5 answering questions that you have to choose now are the ones where you would have to use when you sign your documents electronically. You know how before when you would do paper DMRs, you would sign it and mail it to us? It's kind of the same principle. You would sign it using an answer and then submit it to us. Again, I would show answers so you see what you're writing. And it could be any of those, I believe, 15 questions. Then you would click on next. And then, so now you would put in your organization name. Usually, if you're a first-time registrant, it wouldn't have it, but we would just check, just to check. We would just answer the ones with the asterisks. We would click on find. And again, most first-time registrants, we won't have you in our database. So we would request that we add your organization. So you put in, again, only the red asterisks. Organization name. And then your mailing address. City, your state. And yes, United States is all the way down. So this, and then you would have to put in your email address because they're going to send a verification code to your email address. People sometimes have it on their phone, but if you can put if you can get it on another tab, that would be easier because it's a long verification code full of numbers and letters. And I can show you that. So after you send your verification code, you can either open up your email account already, or if beforehand you have it open, that would be good too. So once you open your email account, which I have right here, you'll get an email from, its name will be help desk. It's from an EPA address. So it'll say core registration email verification request. You open it, and it comes from an EPA cdx.net, and it's this long address that you would have to copy and paste. So I would just copy and paste. And then you put it on the verification code. And then you should get a little green check sign. And you click on register. And success. So you've finished your CDX, which is the EPA registration part. Now you would go and get identity proofing. So this is to make sure that you are not a robot. It's not it's not one of those bot emails. So we're making sure that we're checking your home mailing address this time and not your organization. Now, some organizations or facilities have the exact same mailing address, which is fine. So your home, where you get mail, your state, again, only just the ones with the red asterisks. Then your date of birth. It is checking you. And then your last four digits. You can show your social security number if you don't know it, but if you know it, then you don't need to. And then you do agree. I agree to the electronic signature agreement. And then you verify and sign. So sometimes what the federal government has for your address is not what you put as your address. For example, you may get mail somewhere else, and that's not what the federal government has under your name. You will get this paper, which means that you cannot do the electronic signature agreement until you print this out and mail it to our staff here in Baton Rouge, which is what they'll just do is you print this out and you sign two parts. You sign on the responsible official part, and then you sign I think on the second page right there, you sign it in date, and then you mail it to our staff in NetDMR. You would print it and then mail it. And once you do, when you print it, this is the preview of it. And once you print it, oops, it'll tell you where to send it, which is our address here in Baton Rouge, which is, yeah. See, you'll click on this, the hyperlink, and it gives you a mailing address where to send it to. And once she gets that paper agreement, she will approve your CDX part, and then you can continue with the NetDMR state part. All right. Once you get your CDX approved, this is what you're going to see. It would be under My CDX, and your program, the NetDMR Louisiana DEQ, and your role. So on the role, it should be a blue hyperlink that you can click to. So you click on that. So we're going to the LDEQ state part, and then you would continue to NetDMR. So this is where this sheet would be handy, which is the NetDMR registration instruction sheets. So it just follows along, and we're going to follow along as is written on the sheet. So we're gonna, if you have your permit, um, if you have your permit number handy, oh yeah, um, this is the time to have it ready. And if you don't have your permit number handy, you could go to EDMS. So you could go to EDMS LTEQ, click on the link, and click on proceed to EDMS. Once you're on the EDMS website, if you don't know your AI number or your agency interest number, you could click on AI Lookup, and there are multiple ways you can find your permit number through our EDMS website. So, for example, your facility has the words mobile home in the name. You could type in mobile home, click on search, and it will give you all the facilities that we have in our database that has the words mobile and home on it. And then, for example, if this happens to be your facility, you would click the box on the left and then click return to document search with selected AI. And there's your AI number. You would click on search again, and then your permit number will have LAG 5. It'll either be 53 or 54 or 56 or 57 or LA, and that's the number that you would need for to finish your NetDMR registration. But I will give you another example. If you go back to AI Lookup, if you want to look for your agency interest number using your mailing address or physical address, you would need to clear the form first and then type in if your number is 1034 whatever street, then you would just put 1034 and then, for example, Maple. Then you would click on search and click on mailing search, and then it should populate. You would click on request access, and then you would put your permit ID. For our purposes, it'll be LATEST 006. You would click update, and the name of the facility will turn up right here, and you would select your role. And if you are the first one registering, you would pick signatory. And if you're an owner or the manager that makes decisions, you would pick signatory. You would then click on add request. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, you will see the request that you asked for. Then you would click submit. Then they'll want to know what is your employer's relationship to the facility. And if you're the facility owner, then you are the facility. If you're a supervisor or a manager, then you will be the parent. For our purposes, will be the owner, so we pick facility. Since you are the owner, you have the authority to enter into this agreement. So you would click that one, and then you would click submit, and then you would sign electronically. And then you would click sign electronically again. And then to authenticate your request, they're going to ask for the password of your CDX. Make sure that you remember it because you can't see it. So you only have 3 tries before they lock you out. Click on login. Then they're gonna ask one of your security questions that you filled out. Answer. And then you would click sign and success. So when you get this message, which is your access requests have been submitted for approval, that means that your access is going to one of our NetDMR staff, and it's going to take about a week and a half for them to approve or deny you. And if you get approved, you'll get an email from an email address with an la.gov address, and after that, then you can now put in your DMRs electronically online. And that's it.